satellite uplink established. Welcome back, Commander.
Okay, Commanders, I played a good deal of the Tempest Rising demo, and it was cool. It felt like classic Command & Conquer, and it played very well. The setting is very intriguing to me, like the opposites the story presented so far, like how Tempest actually cleaned up local radiation and was harmful to vehicles instead of mutating the world and being harmful to infantry like Tiberium from Command & Conquer. However, I think Tempest is keeping a dark secret, and I look forward to discovering it in the full game. The doctrine system was really cool, and I can see this encouraging very different playstyles during the full campaign, and the armory granting you new upgrades and units is also an awesome touch. I look forward to seeing it fully utilized. Overall, I think it looked and played extremely well, and I'm excited to see the full game go gold. However, there is one thing I'd like to address, and maybe a few things on my wish list. First of all, population cap. Now, I understand the reason why caps exist in strategy games. It helps prevent snowballing and helps keep things balanced for competitive play. However, to me, it feels like the cap here is kinda out of place. Most RTSs I've played that have a population cap have whole mechanics built around it. For example, how in Warcraft or Starcraft you need farms or supply depots to raise your maximum population until you hit the hard cap. Here the cap starts out maxed out and you don't need any supply buildings, which I hope this remains the case, but the cap feels out of place to me. Maybe because this game feels like the next Command & Conquer game, and a population cap in CNC feels weird, because it never happened before on PC. It never happened before. Now, the cap does feel very generous based on what was in the demo. If you hit 200, then just attack. You win. You're just fooling around now. We'll have to see how much supply higher tier units require later on though. Then there's the question of how big the multiplayer and skirmish maps are. If maps get particularly large, then you'd need more units to cover more ground, so that 200 might feel very limiting and spread thin on large maps. My personal philosophy on population caps is if I can prove that I can maintain my army and manage an efficient economy better than my opponent, then the ability to build as many units as I want should be the reward. Population caps can sometimes, to me, feel like it discourages the use of some units. Look at classic Warcraft 3, for instance. Each faction has a great variety of units, each with their own use. However, with such a low population cap, there are a number of units I simply never use, because it feels like their supply cost was not worth it. And it'd be better off using other units. Without a cap, there's a much better chance that more people would be willing to use more of the available units. Now, that's just me on population caps. How it seems to be handled here feels pretty acceptable and is in no way a deal breaker, but it's just my preference that there are no population caps. Other items on my wish list. I personally hope for 8 player maps. At the very least, I hope multiplayer and skirmish maps aren't limited to 4 players. That always felt a bit disappointing to me when I encounter an RTS with so few player slots on a map. I'd ask for at least 6. Also, I hope there are more than just 2 maps that support the maximum number of players. Some reason, it seems like almost every 3D RTS just stops at 2 maps that support the maximum number of players. I also hope that not all of them are symmetrical arenas. Back in Tiberian Sun and Red Alert 2, I enjoyed seeing maps with a natural and believable layout. It makes player actions a bit less predictable, and the maps themselves can be fun to explore and see how you can use new locations as choke points and FOBs. Some symmetrical maps are fine, but mixing in plenty of asymmetry would be appreciated as well. Anyway, overall, I really enjoyed the demo of Tempest Rising. Everything they've done so far looks really cool, and I look forward to seeing what's next. But this has been my personal requests and feedback. Let me know what you think. Also, what was your experience with the demo like? Feel free to share. Until next time, take care.